All right, welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Earl. We're fresh off the heels of one of the most popular episodes ever with the lovely and talented Nicole Amy Schreiber.
Ester Steinberg.
I know.
Oh, I thought you got us mixed up.
No.
Used to that.
I could never get you
so
two.
Pushy.
No, it's all good. You see what I'm dealing with already. I can't even get to what episode we were on
Blue
last
M&Ms.
week without. That's why I wanted her on the show. I have a feeling that we're going to overtalk each other. We're going to just get nuts. This is my second cast member of the hit Oxygen show, Funny Girls. It's blowing up the network. I can't name you another show on the Oxygen show, so, but I don't think I'm their target audience. She is one of the cast members of Funny Girls. Last week was Nicole Amy Schreiber. This week, Ester Steinberg. The great Ester Steinberg, who I thought was portrayed as the villain of episode 1. She disagreed with me. Esther, welcome to the show.
Hey. Here's why I don't think I'm the villain. I run a show. I give people opportunities. I support comedy. And I'm entitled to an opinion of who I want to be on my show.
Oh, absolutely. But I think given some of the parameters of reality TV, I'm not saying Oxygen is doing this to you, but I think they like to have a villain, someone who stirs the pot. Would you not say you...
I keep my eye on the prize, which is stand-up. To me, that's like everything. That's like every ounce of my body. It's not about Tinder date. It's not like, how can I get my dick wet tonight? It's like, I want spots and I want to be a comic and I'm focused on my work. I'm focused on making my show the best show in town.
And that's the Kibitz Room, Monday nights.
Last Monday of every month. And I'm so excited that once upon a time I was frustrated because no one was putting me on their shows. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own show. And I went to Canner's and I was like, please, can I do a show here? They're like, absolutely not. And I'm like, come on. And they were like, fine, we'll give it a try. But stand-up comedy doesn't work here. We're a music venue. So I did it, and they were like blown away. I had Moshe Kasher on the first show. He killed, and then they ended up I'm on my 2-year anniversary in May, and I am excited. And I do it with my sister, who's not even a comedian. Whatever. That if that is a villain.
Well, no, I would think, and if you watch the show, it was more.
But if you were booking anything, you were like, "Hey, Earl, I'm putting you in charge of booking something. Check out Stephanie," and then you watch the set that she did. Would you have put her on your show?
I might have wanted a second look.
I don't. Maybe I come from theater school and I come from this background where my dad screamed at me and was like, "There's no fucking crying in comedy." That I'm just like, there is no, I don't know, man. My mom's Israeli. My dad's a former comic. They're super tough on me. And I feel like I'm tough on myself and I'm tough on everyone that I love and care about around me. And unfortunately, I just have that kind of mentality that's like, be great. You're a comedian. You've got 5 minutes. That's it. You can do it. Put your heart into it. And I don't know that everyone in the cast, I know at this point, like we've come a long way as a cast. But day 1 of filming, I was like, what the fuck, man?
Because you guys are at that point maybe acquaintances, not friends.
Sure.
I'm talking to you and the whole cast.
Yeah, we're all acquaintances. And when I saw Yamanika, I was like, holy shit, this girl's amazing. And then I started learning about the other comics and I started seeing them. And I think that slowly everyone got better and more serious about comedy, but I can't help it. It's like a disease. I'm pretty obsessed, and I take comedy seriously. Maybe I'd be better off if I was chill.
No, I'm not telling you how to act, But let me ask you this. Do you think Sal's Comedy Hole at the open mic is the best place to judge someone's comedy? Wouldn't you rather see them in a more...
I've never wanted to judge someone's comedy.
But you have to if you're booking the show.
I guess. I wish I I wish I didn't have to.
Like when you saw Stephanie at the end of that first episode, and I've certainly bombed more than most comics put together. So,
Well, I didn't understand. I understand bombing, and I I feel for her, but I was just so uncomfortable, and I don't understand why someone has to lash out and call my sister a bitch, especially my sister. She's like, "Oh, you bitches. You should be ashamed of yourself." And I'm like, "Jesus Christ.
well, I mean, it was.
What did I do to deserve that?"
Well, I mean, I've certainly said things in the middle of bombing I wish I maybe wouldn't have said, but I think it's maybe you guys on your cell phones in the front row. Do you think that? I mean, let me ask you.
That was I mean, I was highly uncomfortable. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think it's like a problem.
But let me ask you this: let's reverse.
If I could go back in time, I'd sit there. Okay. During that moment, I've never talked about this before.
So this is breaking exclusive news.
I've never talked about this, but I have to say that while she was on stage, she said that she puts out a plate of food
for her boyfriend.
For her boyfriend. Now, I've had a joke for the past 2 years called The Secret Joke, which I explain the book The Secret, and I go into a really big act out. You can see the clip on oxygen.com. It's about putting food out for my boyfriend. It's about half of my closet being empty, and these things that I talk about in The Secret. I wrote the joke, it's been around for a while. And when she said that, me and my sister both like inhaled, and we were both like, oh, that's so similar to my joke. Now, she didn't go there, but there was a moment where I was like, when someone has the same exact premise as you and mentions the same thing, she didn't go where I went, and we can both have similar jokes. We can both talk about interactive vision boards. Fine. I'm cool with it. But that moment, and nobody cares. Nobody talks about it. But it was a moment where I was watching someone do my joke, and I was like, oh, shit.
Have you approached Stephanie about this?
No, we haven't talked about it. And I don't even care. They're different. When you first are hearing, you're perked up. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have a joke just like this. And then you finish listening, and you're like, good. It didn't go where I went. Because my joke goes into like me being like, I have to explain to the guy coming over, why is half your closet empty? And then I have to be like, because I've been waiting for you. I've conjured you. And I don't know. I do the whole act out, and I do it with an Australian accent, and I talk about Rhonda Byrne, who wrote it, and then, Oprah made her famous. So I don't just talk about vision boards out of nowhere. I go into the background, but
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you talk about a dick pic vision board. So
I definitely don't do that. My vision board is just Space Jam.
Well, that's certainly different than a dick pic vision board.
No, but there was an interactive vision board where she puts a plate out for her boyfriend to hope to get one. That's almost exactly the concept. It's if there are like 8 parts to my joke, it's one of the 8 parts.
Now let's get to this dude who I won't name. That is part of the controversy.
I think the reason that it was so heated and so controversial was because I care about this person a lot as a human being and as a friend and as a comedian. And my heart was broken as a girlfriend. And so it was uncomfortable, as I wasn't ready to be like, yeah, this guy's a liar.
Now, you think at the time, and I know you probably can't talk about future episodes about what happens, because you're going to have to tune in to the Oxygen Network Tuesdays, 6 p.m., Funny Girls. But, I think we can cover what's happened the first 4 episodes. You thought that they had possibly slept together, or...
Not at all.
You thought she was trying to sleep with
Not
him.
at all.
So what did you think? Maybe I'm missing something.
There's a lot of things of like, oh, he was trying to sleep with me, blah, blah, blah. No. We were dating. I'm the kind of girl who doesn't like, I like to go be taken on dates, and I like to be courted, and I like to be in relationships. And we're on that path, and we were hanging out a lot together, and it was great. And then he comes home from the store and was like...
The Comedy Store.
Yes. And he was like mad. And I was like, what's going on? And he's like telling me that he heard that I hooked up with this guy and a bunch of guys. And I was like, okay, where's this information coming from? And I basically told him, this is who I had a relationship with before you. And this is a person I had a fling with before you.
I'm not saying all, but most were other comics, right?
I love comedians. Sorry, not sorry.
You like who you like.
And I was like, what is this? Why are you mad? What is happening? Where is this coming from? And he said, Stephanie Sambari told me this information. And I was like, I don't know who she is. And I don't know why this person's trying to make me look bad. So I just didn't really address it, fixed it with him. We're hanging out. We're in a relationship. We're happy. Cut to, I'm on a show with this girl. And people want to know why I'm like not warm and fuzzy. And I'm like, all right. And something really important happened, which was Yamanika, for real, 100% real, told me I need to face my fears / my shyness or my inability to have confrontation because I'm a freak and I hate confrontation. She was like, you really just need to be like, yo, let's talk. What's up? So we did sit down on camera and we did talk. And it was really difficult for me because she didn't admit to anything. And at that point, I didn't even care. I just wanted to like plow through it. Cool. I'm not even with this guy anymore. Whatever. I don't even care if she was telling the truth or not. At this point, I'm just completely over it. But it was a really intense conversation.
And why did you guys break up? If we can, people
I
want
don't
to
know. I think that I have no idea.
You still like him, don't you?
I like him as a person. I don't know. But I am a very like lovey person and I have a very big heart and I'm like super affectionate and I call people 100 times a day and I text them 100 times and I want fucking emojis. And that's probably really annoying for most 99, like all men.
No, we love that stuff.
I need to see like, I like that. And I think that maybe I was a little too clingy or I wasn't the right girl for him or something. And it's fine. But we broke up because I was playing on his iPad casually. All text messages go to his iPad.
Oh, I know.
And we were house sitting and I was like taking care of this girl's dog. And I read the text message that came in and it was him in the girl's house that we were staying at. And I'm good friends with her. And it was like, I don't know how to break up with Esther. She's going to be so upset. Like, I don't know how to do it. And I went up to him and I was like, all right. We're through, like, why? And I just like I reacted and I got really upset, but like he wanted to end things. I don't know. Let's ask him.
We'll get him on the season finale of Inappropriate Earl.
I don't know why he broke up with me.
But so there's maybe a chance of a reconciliation down the road.
I don't think so because he wasn't great for me.
Well, you like that dude who did your SNL reel? I forget.
He's not good for me either.
But you really.
These are people that don't like me back.
But you're attracted to those kind of guys.
I think I'm just attracted to a guy, whether he likes me back or not. Never really concerned me.
Is it sexually or emotionally?
Both. It always has to do with their brains. It's never looks.
But you're dating a great guy now, right?
Yeah. And he likes me back as far as I know. He's supportive.
I won't say his name, but he is a great guy.
He's cool.
I'll just say this. His name rhymes with a car service that's not a taxi cab.
He's great. He's definitely, it took a long way before he even wanted to acknowledge that I was his girlfriend. So for many months and maybe like 2 years, he just wanted to be cash.
Well, it's tough dating another comic. I mean,
I guess.
'Cause you don't want other comics talking about you as a couple, right? I mean, that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah, I don't. I'm very private.
Like if you're dating comic A, comic B is going, oh, Ester's boning this guy.
I hate that.
But that happens in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure with the success of the show, it's people are gonna.
Sometimes I look at like heroes of mine, female women, and they have had relationships with this person and that person, and it's like, you know what? Who the fuck cares? They just do their thing.
Like Margaret Cho, is that one?
Margaret Cho, Natasha Leggero, I worship her. She just does her thing. She dates someone she wants to date who's really funny. Cool, good for her. I don't think people look at her differently, and I don't. Sarah Silverman's dated people. It's like whatever. It doesn't take away from her. And anyone who wants to be like, oh, she fucked this guy. Why? What are you jealous that she wouldn't fuck you?
Yeah. I tried. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I mean, and plus I talk about this on the show where I'm like, I feel like all female comedians are like, the minute you start talking about them, it's not like this joke, that joke. It's like, oh, she fucked this guy, she fucked that guy. Hey, you think that like artists went through that? You think that people, all they cared about was like who Warhol was fucking? They don't really care about his artwork. They're like, oh, this is right here. This is the Campbell soup. He did a replica to talk about the, you know, who he fucked. It's like, no, that doesn't happen.
No, not for guys.
But yeah, I don't like really being a girl very much. I feel like it'd be easier to be a guy because people are like focused on your work.
Yeah, but it's hard. Just there's so many guys that do comedy. You get lost in the numbers. I think it's better to be a female comic because if you're good, you'll stand out more.
I don't know. I don't know. I used to work at a comedy club called Side Splitters in Tampa when I was like 16, 17, 18 before I went to college. And I was there for the comedians, and it's a really disgusting town, Tampa. And if a black comic was going to be there, it was 100% black crowd, maybe 2 white people. And when the southern, like, blue-collar comedy was there, it was, like, all, like, rednecks. And when the Hispanic comedian came in, it was, like, all Latino, packed. And when the female comic came, nobody was there.
Well, but were they, like, I'm sure if Sarah Silverman were at Side Splitters, it would...
It was Lynn Koplitz, who was, like, phenomenal
comedian.
She
was the... For those of you wondering who Lynn Koplitz is, I think she took over for Chuck Woolery on Love Connection.
She's incredible.
Yeah, no, she's great.
She made me laugh so hard, and she was so encouraging. I was, like, working at the door, and I was like, I do open mics, and I think I did a guest spot for her. I don't know. I did guest spots for everyone there. I was really hungry.
Well, you still are, though. That's, I think one of the misconceptions about being on a show is that people get lazy and, you don't have to work as hard. But I saw you last Thursday night at a show I didn't even know where that played, Hyperion Tavern.
Yeah.
And we were both grinding it out. And, I'm sure some people were surprised. Oh, that's the girl from Funny Girls. What is she doing here?
I had someone sign me up for rock paper, so I can do rock paper open mic at 6, and I'll do the Comedy Store at 7:30, and then I'm going to the rap battle at the Improv.
And that is tonight. This episode will be out in about an hour. So for you locals who want to kiss ass with someone who's on TV, Esther will be at Rock Paper, which is an open mic on Sunset by the Guitar Center. And then she has a show, The C Word, at the Comedy Store, which is a very good show in the Belly Room. And then the rap battle
I'll just be hanging out.
Well, yeah, but, it would have been better if they thought you were going up.
No. I don't know what, am I funny enough today?
Well, but this isn't about being funny. It's not like, this is more like along the lines of a talk show. Listen, I'm a tough audience. I don't laugh at anything.
Me neither.
So.
Ugh, that's another thing. I've lost my ability to laugh. I watch people laugh and I'm like, what I would do.
Well, I can't do it. If I think something's funny, I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Me too.
But that's probably why I like if I was at Sal's Comedy Hall that night judging Stephanie, I would not have sat in the front row. I would have sat in the back.
Do you think that I purposely wanted to sit?
Oh no, I mean, listen, I'm a huge reality show fan, but what I do like about Funny Girls, and since I'm a comic, I get the struggles that you girls go through, I go through. It's a little more real than most reality shows.
Absolutely. And I can only speak for myself to say that my storylines were fueled by real emotion, real issues, and the things that are on the internet. There's like one or two people, who cares? Oh, that's fake. It's like, you'd be so shocked to know how real it is. But it's very easy to just be like, oh, it's all fake. I'm like, you don't even know.
I don't think it's all fake. I mean,
The Kibitz Room, yeah, we invented it for the show.
No, I think people might talk about, maybe some of the storylines seem like they're not prolonged.
Let's talk about my storylines.
Well,
what do you like? What do you like from me on the show? What do you want to see more of?
I would like to see more of the vulnerable you versus what I still believe was happens in a lot of reality shows is we need, like I watch Vanderpump Rules, and like seems like they try and make some of those cast members like the villain, the pardon my word, but the cunt. Since I know you, Stephanie, Nicole, I don't know the other girls, although I met Scout, she was cool. I'd rather see the real you, and maybe that is the real you.
I'm just like, I don't know how to separate myself and watch the show and be like, oh, that's me being villainized. I don't know.
But I don't mean, I think you, when I say villain, I think you...
I was the head bitch in charge.
Right. I don't mean it as you're a bad person, but I mean, any reality show is going to, I think, try and portray certain people, as the ditzy.
Why does Esther have such a bad light on her and the Kibitz Room is like the greatest light?
Well, because I think you're a strong personality, you're opinionated, and that I think falls into line with what the head bitch in charge should be.
That is true. I am opinionated, and I'm not, and I think that it's great. I like having an opinion, and I challenge everybody listening to have an opinion. It's okay. It can be an awesome opinion or a wrong opinion. I don't care. Just have one and talk about it. So many people, especially in LA. In New York, everyone has an opinion and they scream it from the rooftop. Here, everyone's so afraid to step on someone else's toes to say this comedian's not good. Hey, guess what? Bill Burr used to tell me to polarize the audience. Half of them are going to hate you and half of them are going to love you. And that's how you get fans. You can't please every single person. It's like candidates for president. I mean, like, you pick an extreme and all those, you're going to get followers. I don't know what to say. All I mean is, like, I'm fine with being an opinionated person. And I don't apologize for that, especially as a woman where a lot of society is like, look cute and be agreeable. I mean, I could shut the fuck up and be like the most loved person ever.
That's what I do.
Hey, Earl, you look so good and you were so funny. And can I just say thank you so much for having me. And also, like, I just love everyone. I think everyone in the cast is amazing. And I just, like, so grateful. Like, that is a much more likable person.
Yeah, but that's a boring podcast. I like you.
My mom's from Israel. And my dad's a former comedian.
Like, when you say former comic, you mean over in Israel or
no?
Here?
So my dad's from Tampa, and he has done comedy at the Comedy Store and the Kibitz Room.
Can you say his name?
Yeah, Michael Steinberg. Now, he was a part owner of the Comedy Zone or Comedy Corner in Tampa during the comedy boom. He started, and then he went to law school and whatever because his parents put that pressure on him. But he came out to LA and tried to make it. He realized he wasn't funny enough. Went back to Tampa. This was in the late 80s. Owned a comedy club. Started with Sinbad and Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy before he was Larry the Cable Guy. He has like old tapes of all of them performing. And he was wacky and goofy and weird and really loved comedy and raised me on comedy and brainwashed me to be a comedian. I pretty much had no choice. I don't remember deciding to do comedy. I remember being forced when I was like 15 and I was going up like regularly at the clubs in Tampa when I was 17. and I invited all my friends from high school. I don't remember a moment where I wasn't a comedian. It was like, forced on me.
Were you the class clown?
I was. But yeah, I was always trying to be funny in class, and it was an easy audience. Tampa's easy.
Yeah, I think I've been there with Rob Schneider, and the club shut down the week after we left. So thank you, Comedy Zone, for the delicious food you gave us. Now when you're in Tampa, did you have a moment where he's like, I got to go to New York or LA to do comedy?
I was so obsessed with New York City that I felt like I was just did not belong in Florida, did not belong in Tampa, and that I was a New Yorker. So I would put up posters of NYU on my wall, and I'd be like, one day. And my grandparents were like, that's crazy expensive. Don't go. You can't go to school there. But I went anyways.
Yeah, but you come from a little bit of money, right? So
sure.
I think you and I are the only two comics, other than Dalia, who belong at Equinox.
I like seeing you at Equinox because I'm like, who's that hot? Oh, it's a comic.
Oh, it's Earl. Oh.
Who's that guy? You look good and your body is nice.
Well, thank you. See, I don't want you to compliment me too much. I'm
telling you the truth. I mean, most guys, I can't compliment them because their bodies are gross. So if I can, sexualize you and objectify you, allow me to.
Absolutely.
It's rare that I get to.
Well, every guy loves that. I remember taking abdominal classes with you, and I was like, this girl's hot, but I didn't know if I knew you or not because I hadn't seen you in a while.
Right.
Because at the time, I was pretty much a Comedy Store only guy, and
sure.
You at that time didn't go up there a lot, I don't think.
I have such a tumultuous love-hate relationship. And by love-hate, I mean, there's nothing more I want than to be given the great honor of being a paid regular. How does that feel?
Well, in my case, it was great. I cried when the guy told me, hey, I've been...
Exactly, yeah.
15 years without a lot of success, mainstream. So it was like a big deal for me.
It's a big deal. Mazel tov.
Well, thank you, L'chaim. But, it's...
That's like having a baby. To me, people, you want a baby? Absolutely no emotion towards babies. Someone's like, you want your name on the wall? I'm like, more than anything.
Oh, yeah. It's I'm more into getting just the spots.
Right.
My name on the wall, which I think happens in July or whatever. There's so many comics' names on that wall.
Oh, come on.
And most aren't even in the business anymore. I just want the stage time.
Of course.
But it'll probably be neat to see oh my God, my name's right next to Willie Tyler and Ester.
The most important thing, come on, is that parking spot.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I got to park there anyway because, I'm a bit of an ass kisser, so everyone likes me. So even though
I think you're extremely likable. I've always liked you. Just as a person, I'm like, I like that guy.
Well, my parents, and this is about you, so I don't want to talk too much about me.
Oh, okay.
But, my parents raised me basically, we all shit out of the same hole, so we're all the same. I treat you like I would if Bill Burr were there. I treat everyone the same, which I think you should.
I agree, but the only thing that stops me from treating people the same is when my guard is up, because there's a darkness and there's just a history in my life of being a little bit of I don't know how to describe myself. I'm a 5'3", 120-pound girl who has been propositioned for sex probably by every person I come encounter with.
In the comedy world, or just...
It doesn't matter. I am, as a woman, I think some women love to get attention and they want to be looked at and hit on, and I fucking hate it. I'm like, I'm a motherfucking comic. Don't talk to me like I'm a fucking tits and ass. That's not me. And I all of a sudden turn into a very defensive person. And I wish I could just be a man and hold my dick and grow out my beard and just let my guard down. And I can't because of what has happened to me in the past. Nothing serious, just, it's like I sometimes feel like it's a little bit predatory, or I get treated differently, or I don't know if it's all in my head. Maybe I need to be in therapy. But I'm a little cunty about my personal space, for one thing, and being respected. And if someone shows me respect, I show them respect. But I think that it must be a lot easier to be you. You don't ever feel like someone's trying to rape you, do you?
Not. I mean,
Do you feel like people push drinks on you because they want to get in your pants?
I can't say that.
How many drinks would it take for someone to like really?
Well, I've never had a drink in my life, so.
Really?
And
That's awesome.
Or drug. Or
I love sober guys. That's my jam. Everyone I talk about has been sober.
And by jam, she doesn't mean Josh Adam Myers. That's another comic.
Oh. Sober.
Yeah, but great dude.
I'm outing all the sober comics.
Well, there's not that many to out. I mean, there's me.
Just the ones just the ones I like.
Josh.
My dude, my former dude.
Your dude now is in the program, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
And the guy that me and Stephanie talk about is in the program.
He's in the program, and great dude.
I'm obsessed with the program. I shop there for men.
I used to go there
JK.
for chicks.
Yeah.
I used to go to Cocaine Anonymous meetings at Cedars. I've never had a drug either.
The skinny hot girls with the
my God,
nice
unbelievable.
titties.
Oh my God. Every whore in the city's there, and they're
That's
real.
so fun.
I mean, I was pretty desperate at a certain point in my life for chicks.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, desperate. Like now, I'm, a little smoother, in terms of, my approach. But back in the '90s, maybe wasn't as. Comedies, I'm sure you could say the same thing, is giving you great confidence in dealing with people off stage.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's wrong with me where I'm just a little like over being alive. I want to kill myself. No.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Be
a great ratings bump for the show, though. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't know what it is about interacting with people. If I'm the awkward one, or if they are.
Well, you probably, especially now that you run a hot room, it's once a week it gets plugged on national TV. Well, no, but I mean, it made the room hotter, right? The crowds are bigger since the show's on.
Yeah, it was really big, packed with fans of Funny Girls, and that was great. And I love people who are fans. Anyone who's like, I love Funny Girls. I do like a happy dance. I'm just like, yay! And I get really excited. But I think that I talk about comics. Like yesterday, I was hanging out at the Cellar, the Comedy Juice at the Improv. And I was like, I don't know if I'm the awkward one.
Well, I'm sure it's weird because I've seen this a lot with comics who have a current show on TV. They walk into a room and people are like, oh my God, they're here, and they like someone to kiss your ass to,
Yeah,
hey, can you give my tape to the oxygen people or whatever?
Maybe. I did talk to Earl, which was nice. And he was like, it's just a chapter.
It's the best. That's
what he told me. He goes, it's just a chapter. Work on your jokes. I was like, I'm in love with you. I love David Tell. He was my idol when I was like a kid. I don't know why.
Oh, he's just like, he's
like, what 15-year-old girl can't stop watching David Tell? I think that is why I'm a comic. I do have a twisted brain where he was definitely, while other girls were worshiping
Dane Cook.
No, I was going to say Britney Spears. No one cared about comedy. It was Tampa. I was a 15-year-old girl. They were talking about Spice Girls and Christina Aguilera, and I was like, David Tell. Who are you? Why are you doing this?
I was a Pink guy myself.
Oh, she's good.
Well, because she's like a dude almost. Like she's like, yo,
I want to be the Pink of comedy.
Well, anything's possible. Be yourself.
I'm trying.
But you are kind of like Pink. I mean, you.
Do you think that I was
Listen, I'm an honest person.
Kind of gangster on the show?
I mean, I wouldn't say gangster. I mean,
What about that crop top?
well, girls all look amazing on the show. I mean,
Stop
even that
it.
one scene where Yamanika is, I think it's a upcoming episode. Like she's in like lingerie or something.
Oh yeah, she looks
Jesus,
good.
look at her tits.
She's beautiful.
And then the taller, what is the taller girl's name?
Khalees?
She's a very pretty woman.
She's really pretty.
I mean, her boyfriend looks a little uncomfortable on camera, but that's cool.
Yeah. Orson is, to me, so hot. But
That's-
I'm wondering if he came across as just like a weird-looking guy.
Well, he came across to me, and once again, I'm not the target audience for your show. I watch it because I know you girls, or most of you, so it's interesting to me. As someone who's not really, probably had to be coerced by her to, hey, just do this show with me. You know,
Yeah.
I need you to do the show. You're my boyfriend. You got to be on it.
Well, I think that the relationship of me calling him 100 times, that's literally how I had to do it.
Right.
Until he's like, fine, I'll do it.
Well, I mean, he has a normal job, and you know, I think any one of you girls who had a love interest or boyfriend or a booty call.
I have another love interest coming on the air. You've seen him in the previews.
Oh, well, I mean, can you? Well, okay. Well, you just have to watch the show.
No, Ari Shafir.
Right. Well, I didn't want to. Ari's the
He's
best.
in the previews.
And he's a bit of a controversial comic himself recently, but
And I think he's an opinionated human, and everyone else, you know, I'm cool with his opinions, and at least he's saying something, and like, unlike a lot of people who are just like twiddling their thumbs and posting some link on Facebook about feminism, that it's like, why don't you write something? I don't know what it is. I have a problem with people not having opinions. I like opinions.
you're almost, and this might come off as an insult, but it's not. You could be seen as like a female Ari from the standpoint of you guys are
I'll take
opinionated, and I don't mean looks wise. You have to be careful when you compliment a girl.
You don't have to be careful.
Well, I think you do, because girls are sensitive.
I don't think I'm that sensitive. Certainly not about my looks.
I disagree.
Sometimes people, okay, for instance, my sister and I are really, like, we're very close. She's my best friend. If somebody says you're fat to her, she is destroyed. But I can handle your fat. I can handle your ugly. If somebody questions my intelligence or my funniness, I get a little bruised.
Whatever.
But for her intelligence, she's a lawyer. You can call her a dumbass all day. It doesn't affect her. So I think that people have their buttons, and mine is definitely not appearance, because I don't give a fuck. I wish I was a fat man.
Yeah, but no, you don't. Trust me, you don't. You know that.
Tell me more about how I'm the female Ari. I like this.
Well, I think you say things, and I'm sure you care deep down, but you know, you don't care initially what people think. You're like, this is my opinion. I'm going to say it. I think, you know, Ari did the Amazing Racist videos, and, you know, some might say, you're crazy. You've got all these national commercials airing. He was in Bud Light, IBM, and he's doing these videos that were, some might say, not crossing the line, but straddling the line in terms of the...
Certainly crossing the line. Well, yeah, he really, like, went there.
But he didn't care. He
No.
said, this is what's funny to me. I'm going to do it. And, you know,
We're all going to die, and then we can look back and be like, hey, I was really careful, and I got this and this out of it. Or you could be like, I just did what I wanted to.
well, no, everyone's different. I mean, I was recently offered to do somewhat of a reality show on comedy, and I turned it down because I just...
Why?
Well, they were gonna kind of portray me as the rich kid doing comedy, and it's like I want to be known for my comedy, not my
For
family
sure.
background, and it probably would have helped my career. I mean, from the standpoint of like, he's got a TV. You know how this business works. If you're on TV, you're gonna get better gigs, because no matter what the show.
Sure.
I mean,
You build your audience.
Yeah, but I mean, Kato Kalin gets shows because he lived in O.J. Simpson's garage.
Hilarious.
So if you can get headlining gigs being OJ's bunkmate,
So funny.
I'm more. I don't know. But why do I do comedy? Because I like doing it. Some people do it for the fame. Some people do it for the money. Why do you do it?
For the pussy.
Okay, well, listen, I don't begrudge lesbian comics.
No, I do it because I love comedy, and one day it would be nice to not live on my sister's couch.
So the end game for you.
I'm like a real asshole. I want a lot of things.
You want SNL?
Sure. And I want a talk show when I'm older.
Like what kind? Like an Oprah type?
Like I like the way Chelsea did it. I like Chelsea lately.
Right, a good show. I could never get on it, but I mean,
Me neither. I liked her on it, and I liked the vibe. I liked the audience, and I liked that it was for women. But I don't know. I want a lot of things. I want to be touring. One of my favorite comics is I like Attell and Bill Burr, and I like Sarah Silverman, and I like Bill Hicks. And all these people have left something behind, like forever and ever. Their comedy was like, I don't know, it has some depth. So I'm not just there to make chuckles. Like, I also want to say something. And I don't know, I want a lot of stuff. But I feel like I'm just at the beginning. I am 8 years in, but I talked to someone yesterday who's like, did it for 28 years. So it's like, it's so stupid to, I don't know. I still feel like I'm in kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Russell Peters is probably the biggest comic in the world, internationally, for sure. He didn't really get going until 15 years in, and then he blew up. And so I don't think there's...
Even Ari Shaffir, like, his stuff is on, he's all over Comedy Central. But I think that he, like, sometimes I look at him and I'm like, he stuck to his guns. When I don't even know the story, but I'm pretty sure Montreal, like, kind of put him in as a dirty show or something because he didn't have the ability to be squeaky clean. When I don't get a college because I'm edgy, I say, all right, well, maybe I'll get a casino because I'm edgy. Like, I think that I look at certain people, I was like, that you stick to who you are and what you do, and your fans will find you and venues will find you. Sometimes I beat myself up because I'm like, why can't I do colleges? But every time I send a tape out, colleges or agents are like, listen, it's too edgy. And I'm like, how is that possible? It's clean. And even just what I'm saying is edgy. What?
Well, will there be and I don't know if you can talk about this. I think I asked Nicole, will there be like a Funny Girls tour, or is that...
I'm hoping. I've certainly I'll use the word harass everyone I can about it. Anyone with any kind of power, whether it's my managers or the team, the Funny Girls team, Oxygen. Every time I see them, all I do is, when's the tour? Can we do a tour? I would like to do a tour.
And what do they say? We're working on it.
They're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, hey, by the way, tour. And I also do this. I go, second season, New York. Yeah, New York, second season. So I have my ways of being like a pushy, annoying piece of shit, no matter who I'm talking to. I just really want, it would be nice.
Well, that would be interesting, the second season in New York, because New York is a completely different comedy vibe.
Yes, and I like New Yorkers. I like New York. I love LA too. And I always say this. I feel like it's the same fucking people. We're all just going back and forth. It's just like, Attell is here today. He's in New York tomorrow. Don't, like, Godfrey's here in LA working out at Equinox.
Yeah, that's right.
But, like, you blink and he's at the Cellar. And then you blink and he's at Laugh Factory. It's the same fucking... They're 6 hours away from each other.
Same thing with Hannibal and Jeff Ross. Jeff has done gigs at the Cellar on Sunday and been at the Comedy Store Monday night. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know. Magical people. But, yeah, it's the same people. But the environment is just... It's different. And if they want to see people... Well, I certainly am more myself when I'm in New York, I think. Because I'm toned down here. I'm smiling and there's sunshine.
You've always been cool, though. I mean, I've never seen an evil side to you.
I don't wish ill on anyone.
Well, I
like
do.
when I say that, in this episode I told Stephanie that she's the worst relationship I have. That was true. I'm very close with I don't have enemies.
That's a good way to go through life, especially in comedy, because you never know.
Even my exes, like the way I talk about this guy that we were fighting with, blah, 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 and he broke up with me. He broke up with me. And I'm still like, I refuse. I could not say a bad thing about him because I just think he's a great guy. I don't even have the ability to be like, what an asshole. She in the show goes, I hate him. He's disgusting. And I'm like, hey, you're allowed to hate him. Again, Stephanie's allowed to have an opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to at some point get you guys on the show together.
We're tight now.
Well, don't spoil anything. You're going to have to watch the show. But
I like her because I think we're similar. I think she does have a little bit of an I don't give a fuck attitude. And I'm like, hey, I like that. Anytime, you know what? It's authenticity. I think she's an authentic person.
yeah.
We can disagree. We can work shit out. And as long as she's authentic, I dig it.
Now, a lot of people have been asking me to ask you this.
Okay.
Comics, and I think people who don't understand what it takes to get on a show, because I think if you're someone in the Midwest who's just a fan of the show, you don't do comedy, you're a farmer, you're like, what is the big deal about playing a certain room? It can't be that hard to get on. How do people get on the Kibitz Room show?
Well,
I mean, what do you look for? Well, yeah, honestly.
I look for people who are really funny, and that's the only rule. That's literally when someone has something exciting pop up, that's like a good what is it? Oh, what am I people are but have you seen Ian Carmel? No, I don't know who he is. Oh, check him out. Holy shit, this guy's hilarious. And you know what? The Kibitz Room is like a bar room. So if you're have quirky one-liners, you may not get them. But if you're huge and have a presence, you're going to get the audience and they're going to love you. There's so many good comics. I mean, I wish that it was every week. Sometimes I'm like, should I do it every week? And then I'm like, no, it's once a month. Because then I don't know if I can do it every week. I get paid no money. I make no money. I'm working on trying to get comics $20. I'm working on doing a donation money in the bucket thing. Although it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I feel like if I can hand comics money for doing my show, I'll be happy.
Well, just talk to Mark Cantor. Get him to write another Guns N' Roses book. And
yeah, his son or grandson, I don't know. He comes a lot and they're fans. But I think that it's enough. They give me the room for free and I put on the show for free and I make no money. So there's absolutely just no actual money transactions.
But they must make money on drinks, right?
They do, absolutely. And they give me plenty of drink tickets for all the comics. So I make sure each of them have 2 drink tickets. If they want any more, we'll talk. Yes, of course. They pretty much drink for free there. And then I want to get them $20 each just as a token. That's a goal for me.
That's a lot of money in LA comedy. For those of you not understanding the pay structure of LA comedy, a $20 gig is
it's more than what you get for improv and Comedy Store combined.
It is. I can vouch for that.
They make you fill out a W-2 when you get paid at the improv. You fill out a W-2 and then they hand you $8 in cash.
I know, it's crazy.
You'll be paying taxes on that.
I know, it's a wacky. But, if you do comedy for money in LA, you'll quit after about 2 months.
Here's how you get on. You email Jacqueline. She's the booker.
That's your sister?
Yes. kibitzroomcomedy@gmail.com.
Oh, you're actually giving. So you're just probably going to get at least.
Send your tape and we sit down and we watch them.
Like a YouTube clip.
Yeah, anything. And just be nice. Just, hey, here's my tape. I want to do your show. Great. clip. Cool. And we'll watch it. And if you're killing it, we'll ask you to do the show. And always swing by. I get people canceling. I had so many comics cancel this last month. The lineup was different. Better, but different.
Because of the people who were just there. It's like, oh, do you want to
Four people dropped out, and then Nate Bargatze came. He just did the Tonight Show and killed, and he's amazing, and I love that guy, and I've known him for years. And then I had James Davis walked in, who's so funny, and he was like, I was like, want to go up? He's like, absolutely. So he went up and killed, and everyone did good, but it was like, thank God he was there, because my comics dropped out last minute. So-and-so had a headache. The other person had a show that they were taping, which is fine.
A show that they were taping
I have
on a Monday night.
I have a 2-year anniversary coming up.
When is it? Because I want to pack this place for you.
May 25th.
All right, so.
And I would be honored to have you on it.
Oh, come on. I wasn't trying to get on the show.
Please do it. My boyfriend is like, if there's one person that needs to do your anniversary show. Oh, you know what? I'm very influenced. I like comedians, but the minute someone like my sister, my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my friend, who cares, the bus driver, starts to tell me that they love this one comic, I listen and I'm like, oh, I'll put them on. It's like if I have a friend who's like an actress and doesn't even do comedy, and she's like, you know who I love? I love Crystalia. I'm like, fuck, I have to get him on the show because my friend. I'm like such a sucker to other people's opinions.
Can I say who your boyfriend's name is?
Sure.
Because I love this man very much. The great. If you want to know Ester's newest love interest, please, I guess, Facebook and look him up, Mr. Eric Gruber, who is not only very funny, I mean...
He's very sweet. He's mature.
But that's a guy you root for. Like, it's like, this guy should be famous. And famous is different to...
You know what? He's great just as a human being. Pleasant to be around. Everyone is like 2 thumbs up for Eric Gruber as a human.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that he's talented and funny. And I want to see him in a really powerful position. And maybe like, you know... work for, I don't know, be like a producer or yeah, and help me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you might know Eric Gruber's name because he, speaking of controversy, you talk about a video that went viral. He exposed a joke thief about 3 years ago.
Justice was served.
I was lucky enough to be a participant in the video. And for those of you who, you can't find it online anywhere, but we had a comic in the LA scene stealing Mitch Mulaney's, not just act, but mannerisms, everything. Eric, and this goes to show you what we were talking about. You should be nice to everyone. The only reason that this video got made was because this guy was a dick to Eric once at a bringer show. And Eric was like, I'm going to get this guy back.
Anyone who's mean to Eric is mean.
Yeah,
if someone's mean to me, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of a bitch. But you can't be mean to Eric because he's like the nicest guy.
And brilliantly funny. I mean, I have a hard time watching comedy because I want to do it. Whenever I see him on stage, I watch the full set because he's really funny, and he's just full of anxiety, and also says that he went up at rock paper and got into a bit of an argument with someone because he dropped the N-word. And I'm like, what are you thinking? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like, I can't avoid the most controversial men ever. Well, yeah, I mean, if you look like Eric Gruber and say the N-word on stage, you might ruffle some feathers.
I mean, I don't know what he was thinking, but at the same time, it was like a joke, and he basically called his mom that.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, cool. Personally, I don't do it, but like, whatever. And I don't know if he's going to do it again. Who knows? But he's bold, and also, what can I say about him that people don't know?
See, this is the Ester people want to see, I think, on the show. Like, wow, you could tell you're really into this guy. You could tell you were into the previous gentleman. I think.
Well, I have had an issue with men, which is anyone. Do you have this, the naysayers? Let's say you're like, I want to have a podcast and you're dating someone and they're like, but it would be this and maybe you shouldn't and you shouldn't. I have a lot of people that want to put me down or kind of make me feel small or make me feel like I can't do it. And in reality, everyone listening or whatever, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Anything at all. And anyone who's like, oh, I don't know that you should do that, or you can't do that, or you can't run a show, or you shouldn't have this, or it should be, they don't know what they're talking about. You need someone who's going to champion you. And Eric does that. If I'm like, I want to do a sketch, but I'm going to ask Wanda Sykes to be in it. Person A, oh, well, she probably won't do it. You're going to need this, this, and this. Person B, hey, go for it. Find her on Twitter, message her, get it done. I'm just making up this scenario, but
no, I mean, when I very much agree.
You have to date someone that believes in you. You also need someone to represent you that believes in you, and surround yourself with people that believe in you. Yeah. It's so easy to just give up.
It is, because it's in this business we're in, stand-up comedy specifically, it's a lot of rejection, a lot. Whether you can't get booked at the Kibitz Room, the Tonight Show, Just for Laughs. No, I mean, there's all levels of rejection. I mean,
it's the day-to-day fails. I messaged this guy, oh, can I do your podcast? He was like, oh, we're booked up for months. That's usually the answer that everyone gives me when I ask them for anything. And you know what? You just have to keep on keeping on. And hopefully don't blame anything. Don't blame the fact that you're this, that, the other, where you're from, who you are, if you're a girl. Just put all excuses aside and just keep on asking.
Well,
and keep on doing.
I was lucky enough to have the great Rob Schneider as a mentor to me, and he saw me at times struggling with confidence or whatever, not getting Montreal, and I think a couple shows I auditioned for, and he's like, dude, just become so good they can't deny you.
There you go.
And it seems like, well, no shit, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
But I think it helps hearing that from someone like him. It's like...
It helps hearing it. You can't hear it enough. You wake up in the morning, someone should be whispering, be undeniable. You can't be denied if you're undeniable. Like, yeah, you can't hear it enough. And anyways, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're an artist, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, you need someone next to you that's nothing but positivity. There's no room for someone to doubt you. There's hundreds of those people when you walk outside your house.
But I think it's hard. You and I don't know if I would say I've exclusively dated comics, but
I've pretty much exclusively dated comics. And the guys that are fucking doctors or lawyers, 10 minutes into our date, they admit to me that they've always wanted to be a comedian. Every man on this planet has a secret dream of being a stand-up comedian, and it all starts coming out when they start dating me. And I'm like, well, there's no escape. I'll just date a guy that's actually a comic.
But, I mean, do you find dating a comic can be tough from the standpoint of if you guys are progressing at a different level? Like, well, I know you love guys. Scout... I said comics.
I love men.
Right.
And I like men comics. And I like that they're funny, and it's a hard business, and it's someone that can relate to my hashtag struggle, and someone that makes me laugh, which is like, at this point, you have to be like professional comedian to make me like even, smirk.
But do you find it hard? Have you ever been in a relationship with a comic where one of you is progressing at a faster pace and there's jealousy seeps in?
You know what? There was something where I was climbing up. I was going up in my career, and they were plateauing, although they were like ahead of me. They were well ahead of me, but nothing was really exciting happening for them. And I'm like starting at the bottom, and a bunch of exciting things were happening. And it was a little weird. There was jealousy on both ends, because it's like, how can you possibly be envious of me? You've done this, 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 and this. I'm dying to do that. Those are all my bucket lists. And I'm in a good position, whether someone's much more successful than me or not as successful. I don't give a shit. I just really like cuddling and getting a guy to go down on me. So if you can do that and be a good boyfriend, then we're good.
Well, definitely Facebook Eric Gruber, and look at that face.
He is, I would say, the best I've ever had as far as head goes.
Well, I certainly wasn't gonna wrap it up on that, but I hope this gets Gruber some followers on Twitter. I've never done this before, giving out someone's Twitter handle that's not on the show, but I'd like to. I think he is at what is he, eGruber1?
Yeah, he needs to post more.
He does, because it's
he's very knowledgeable about music.
Oh, he's just like if I were a girl, I would date him. Like, he's just like, he's nice, he's funny, he's hip, he's quirky.
Tall, handsome, Jewish, circumcised.
Well, that's where you lose me on that, but I mean.
We're trying to get him. I'm trying to get him to join Equinox. Get him in shape.
What's expensive? So I mean, it's not a budget gym, that's for sure. But it's motivating because you're around successful people, and that's why I like it there, because you see, like, I won't say who, because I'm sure Equinox doesn't want me giving out their celebrity members.
I saw Wayne's brothers today. One of them.
I think Marlon's there a lot, and I think but you're around like the most, and this goes to you saying the positivity, and Nicole said it too. It's like you go to Equinox, you're around like a Russell Simmons, Fabio. I mean, the Winklevoss twins, who are like these billionaire hedge fund. They founded Facebook or what. So it's like
you're surrounded by. Well, I was actually going for like the muscles on the women and the toned people. Like, you don't want to go to the gym where everyone's fat. You're like, oh, my standards are low. Like, these people are like in brilliant shape. Like, I'm the biggest girl there.
Yeah, and I'm like the skinniest guy there. It's like doing a comedy show where it's like Bill Burr, Attell, Jeff Ross, Russell Peters, Hannibal Buress, and one of us. It's like, wow, we got a ways to go. And it's like, if you think you're a good looking person, go to Equinox. There's many better looking people than.
Did you know there's only 10 females headlining right now?
I would think there's a little more than that, but.
Do you think that there should be a few more female comedians headlining the country?
Well, here's the thing, and I got in trouble recently on Facebook. I'm not like very controversial, but it really bothered me.
That's why we can't ever have sex.
Well, no, one, I could never have sex with you because I love Gruber, and I don't do that to my friends. I've had a experience.
Of course, but
But if you were single, if I was single,
you're just like, not controversial enough.
I don't know. A lot of people call me Malcolm in the middle because I never really take a side.
You like hot girls.
I'm at this. Yeah, who doesn't? I mean,
So I'm out.
But oh yeah, well, you're hot, but I mean, I just you're like a sister to me, and I think I told Nicole that last week. I don't think I could sleep with anyone on Funny Girls. Stephanie's like. She used to call me Uncle Earl because I would like give her advice on dudes and like, hey, probably should stay away from this guy and all that stuff. But
I want second season to be me giving her how to lock a guy down into a relationship.
Well, I could see a spinoff show with you two, maybe Nicole. But there was in regards to your question about female headliners. I was on a lineup recently at the Comedy Store, and I think there was 14 comics, 2 or 3 were female, and some girls said there should be more women on that lineup. And I half jokingly said, I don't care who's on the lineup as long as they're funny. It could be 15 guys. It could be 15 girls.
Yes.
And she was accused me of being not racist, but chauvinistic. And
that's crazy. It should be like when I talk about Just for Laughs. They have the Fresh Faces. They have 20 people, and 2 of them are women. So I say I feel like I'm trying to get one of 2 spots. I, for some reason, don't feel like I'm trying to get one of 20 spots. But in a perfect world, it's just the funniest. That's how I book the kibitz.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all women. And I'm like, oops, not sorry. Like, didn't even realize. Sometimes it's all men.
Yeah, I mean, that was my point.
Yeah.
It's like you...
Just get the funniest.
I looked at the lineup and said to this girl, you show me one guy in that lineup who should be replaced. And, it was like Michael Costa, Chris D'Elia, just Steve Byrne, me. I don't know how I got
dying to get D'Elia on the kibitz.
I'm sure we'll bump into him at the Knox. But my point was like, if Sarah Silverman's on the lineup, then fine, I shouldn't be on it because she's funnier than I am. But, I don't think gender, sexuality, or race, funniest people should get on the show. So
I agree.
I think if there's 20 female headliners out there funnier than this particular male headliner, give her the spot.
Sure.
I don't, I think in the years of comedy I've done it, I would say that for every 100 male comics, there's 20 female comics. I think that's a pretty 5-to-1 ratio that I can see.
I'd see less women, but they're definitely more noticeable.
Well, that's the pressure, and I think I would agree with you that it's harder being a female comic from that standpoint, because if you're bad, you're going to stand out more because there's just fewer female comics. But if you're good, it's
where you get talked about.
Yeah, like you look at the cast of Funny Girls, people will make their opinions because there's just 6 of you.
Can I just say I think that we have a rock solid cast. That cast is genius.
Well, they haven't shown enough of the taller girl.
Khalees.
I'm sorry.
Really? No, Scout.
No, well, I know Scout. I think she's great. I don't have an opinion on Khalees because they haven't really, to me, and this isn't a critique of the show. It's just she's so far anyway, I think, shown the least.
I will say this. Go, if anyone's interested in knowing Khalees.
Oh, please.
YouTube her shit. She's funny and she's done Fallon and her stand-up. I respect her stand-up so much.
But you're shown a lot on the show. Nicole's shown a lot. Stephanie's shown a fair amount. Yamanika's shown a lot. Scout's just kind of recently been on a little more. So,
Which I have to take Nicole's side in that fight. Nicole, you can talk about being a lesbian and coming off the ecstasy.
Well, I could understand Scout's point of view from the standpoint of if you and I go to the movies tomorrow.
I do jokes about Eric in front of Eric. He doesn't care.
But I
talk about his freaking medication. He has got bottles everywhere.
Whoa, this is we're getting into more.
No, I make fun of his Zyrtec and the Claritin, between the two of us, and the Midol and the antidepressants and there's so many pill bottles. It's we are a walking Auschwitz couple. It's so Jewish.
It's a good crowd there at Auschwitz.
Yeah, they've got a good sense of humor.
It was like the first Bringer show. It's it's crazy.
Did you know they had to do comedy in the camps, just stay alive and have humor?
I was the warm-up act. I went on right before Hitler. Really got him going. But I understand. If I went to the movies with you tonight and I don't know, you saw Viagra in my car, or I don't know, weed or whatever, I wouldn't want you talking about it the next night on stage, just because.
Yeah, that's a little weird. There's definitely something. I wouldn't do that. But for some reason I'm I can talk about his pills until he's Esther, don't talk about my pills.
But I don't think a lot of people know you guys are a couple.
Oh yeah, people don't know that.
I assumed when I saw you at the gym, but even then I was oh, they just could be workout buddies. I think with
how do I make it known to everyone? Should I gram it?
Well, I think you're definitely a couple 100,000 or so people will know now, but so
maybe
sorry.
We'll go to Earth Cafe, Earth with the U, Earth.
Right, that's on Melrose.
And or we should all go to the Ivy.
Or or the Palm, and we'll go with
we probably do have to wrap it up, but can you give me some fancy rich boy restaurants that I'll make Eric take me to?
Well, I mean, you don't want to make him take you.
Have you been to Gracias Madre?
I have not. I'm more of a Bel Air hotel guy. But you're talking. I took a lady friend there, and it ain't cheap. I mean, you're talking $300 for dinner. You're talking 20 to tip the valet.
Okay, like on a casual day, she's not that pretty. Where do you take her?
If I'm not really that into the girl, we're just boning, or it's it's I don't like her as like a girlfriend type. It's just a booty call, an acquaintance, we'll hook up, friends with benefits, I guess.
Sure.
I would take her to I don't know, maybe like Chin Chin on Sunset Plaza. I mean, you're still gonna drop $50 there.
What about like Fig and Oliver bullshit or like?
I mean, if I really, really like a girl, I'll take her to like Sushi on Sunset. That's $100 right there.
And where do like I have a lot of friends that are single, and you live in this neighborhood. They want to meet a guy just like you. Where do you like chill to like meet girls?
Well, if you're a single female looking for a straight guy who lives on Larrabee, you're gonna pretty much roll snake eyes on that one. I mean, but I mean, I'm kind of a rough person to ask that question to, because I'm kind of an eccentric Howard Hughes type. Like the things I do, very few people like. Like I'll go to an '80s metal concert. I have a Rat shirt on right now. I will go to the singer from Rat. He'll have a solo show at the Whiskey. I'll go to that. I wouldn't take any girl to that, because they'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" By the way, it was the highest listened to episode of Inappropriate Earl.
Oh shit!
Ever. But getting back to a couple minutes ago, you said, did people ever naysayers say don't do this? When I started this podcast, I was like, I want to interview people from the '80s, rock stars, actors, the Cherry Pie Girl, Tawny Katane. People are like, no one's going to want to listen.
Like Polly?
Yeah, I would love to have him on, because he was like, he lived it. But
I've asked him to do the Kibitz Room 100 times.
Well, I think he's kind of scatterbrained. Like, he'll say yes and then forget. He gets probably asked to do so many shows. He's probably doesn't want to say no. Yeah, I'll do it. No problem. Just call the Comedy Store or whatever. But the genesis of this podcast was to interview my favorite singers and drummers and '80s action stars, and most of them say yes. So
I wish I could help you. I wish I knew some people.
You're too young. You can't.
But I wasn't even alive.
I know. When were you born?
1990.
Oh my God. Warrant's last album came out in '91. So maybe you could get me their drummer or something. 1990. Oh, that's the year I first had sex.
Do you have all these people in your phone book?
Oh yeah, I just would tweet them and like, hey man, I like the singer from Rat. I'm like, hey, it's tough to approach them because you don't want to say you're a fan, because then they're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with some fan.
Right.
But most people say yes. And then when Funny Girls came out, I was like, oh my God, I know these girls. It's a popular show. If I had one girl on a week, it would be great. And,
well, I appreciate it. I feel like we might have this podcast might take our show to the next level, and I appreciate that.
Well, I hope so. You guys might take me to the next level. But I loved, I had you and Nicole on, and I'll ask Stephanie, soon. I'm friends with you guys, and
her calendar is clear, so it
a
won't be
little
a problem.
zinger.
JK, LOL.
Get the JFL. Oh, that's the Just for Laughs festival that's rejected me 4 times, but that's all right.
My callback is on May 11th at the Improv Lab.
For characters or stand-up?
Stand-up.
So go to that. I mean, the JFL for you non-comedy fans, it's like the Super Bowl for stand-up and characters. If you want.
You went for characters?
No, I went for just straight stand-up, and I know they don't. There's too many people to call and say, "Hey, you didn't get it because." So I have no idea why I. But
Why don't you interview Jeff?
Jeff
Singer, get him on your podcast.
I would love to. Is he LA based?
He's back and forth.
I was dealing, several people who were all very cool to me. But maybe I wouldn't mind going maybe next year for Unwrapped. But this is about my
It's
career.
not about you, but hey, put it out there, put it in the universe, put a bowl out for your manager. Put a bowl of food out. No, for your future manager.
Oh yeah, right.
Your interactive vision board.
I'm not gonna, you gotta like Tony Robbins, see it, believe it, think it, achieve it.
Make a list.
Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Rhonda Burns, The Secret.
The Secret. I actually like The Power as well. That was the follow-up to The Secret. I mean, you have to, if you're a comic, have
it's the power of attraction.
Outside influence keeping you positive, or else
be delusional. That's the only way you'll make it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm delusional, but I think I'm realistic in my delusion.
I'm delusional, but I'm authentic.
Well, you have to be delusional to think you're going to make it in this business. It's so insane, and there's so much out of your control that
Hashem is looking over us chosen ones.
Does he book a room?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
yeah, he does.
The co-booker of Kibitz.
Hilarious.
May 25th, Kibitz Room.
Yes.
2-year anniversary. You LA people, Fairfax, Cantors. It's a legendary.
Featuring Earl.
Well, we'll figure that out. I mean, I'm down, but don't.
It's done. It's in the books.
See, you're nice to people. You get booked on a show, but the
last. This was Eric's doing.
Well, listen.
Eric sat me down and was like, "Listen, you want a good show at the Kibitz Room? Someone who's funny and reliable, who's not going to cancel on you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Earl.
Earl's the guy.
Uncle Earl.
Uncle Earl's the guy in old L.A." But
I said, "Whatever you say, Eric. Just finish eating me out." I'm joking.
Well, it's the last Monday of every month.
Yeah.
Kibitz Room, Cantor's Legendary Eatery. If you know anything about Cantor's, it's where Guns N' Roses ate the first night.
Who are they?
Oh my God! They were the greatest band in the world until
One Direction.
Well, no, don't ever. That's like saying Bill Burr and Carrot Top. Just nothing against Carrot Top. I like that sellout comedy myself.
Hey, he's making the most money off of pure stand-up.
Listen, I got no ill will against Scotty. That's his real name. That's what a comedy, Wikipedia man I am. But Esther, please, I like to wrap up every show with your Facebook and Twitter stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where can people?
My Instagram is Ester ESTER _Steinberg, and my Twitter is @EsterK, and I will respond to any kind of positive message.
Now, before we wrap up, I was going to wrap it up, but since you just said that, this is what happens when two Jews get to kibitz, and we're in a room. How do you deal with the negative comments on YouTube and about the, does Oxygen have like a comment section for the show?
Sure, yeah. I usually ignore everything, but if it's on Twitter, I fave it. That's my signature move. You say something shitty about me, I fave it. That's all. I
love it. That's what I do. I leave all the bad reviews up. So, it's tough. You go on my YouTube thing, and I had to put up this really funny clip of my comedy. One guy said, "This is the worst comic in the world." And I replied to him, "Thank you."
Oh, yeah. The funniest thing, one of my friends, Asif Ali, he screenshotted it. It goes, "Not funny, curry muncher." He's like an Indian comic, hilarious. And he put that on Facebook, and I was laughing for like a whole minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal.
Not funny, curry muncher.
So, you got to have a good... I don't even read the comments anymore. I don't think you can, because there's so many freaks.
I don't have any really horrible comics, but sometimes people are like, "How could she do that to Stephanie?" And I fave it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you watch the rest of season 1 of Funny Girls. I have a feeling
it's gonna get real juicy.
It's gonna see a lot of. I have a feeling we might even see certain guys pop up in episodes. Like it'd be like when Kiss put the makeup on the reunion. It's like, oh my God, they're in the same room together. So I know I got some sources on the show.
Pretty crazy things are about to happen.
Yeah. So episode 5 is this Tuesday, 6:00 East time. DirecTV, Oxygen Network, and other cable outlets of your choosing. Watch the show. Go on oxygen.com and get the Funny Girls.
And if you want a Funny Girls tour, which I would think everyone does. At Oxygen, #FunnyGirls, tour, please.
And go and check out all their bios. So when you listen to this episode, you know who we're talking about. And EsterSteinberg.com.
Curly brown hair Jew face.
Yeah, Esther's the curly brown hair Jew. Yamaneika's the.
I'll let you deal with that.
No. Yamaneika is the voluptuous African American comic. Nicole Amy is the
redhead Jew.
Red-haired Jew.
Stephanie's the blonde Jew.
And Scout is the lovely
lesbian Jew.
Lesbian Jew, and the
taller.
The tall girl.
She looks like a fucking model.
Right. What's her name? You've said it like 4 times.
Oh, Khalees. Khalees and Scout both are models.
They're beautiful. I mean, there's not an ugly girl in the bunch.
Khalees is great.
So support Oxygen, Funny Girls. This is Inappropriate Earl, iTunes, SoundCloud.
Say something inappropriate.
I can't because, I think I said cunt earlier on. I want Oxygen to retweet this. So, I'm sure they want, they don't be retweeting something.
Let's say something inappropriate towards... Well, I don't know. I guess nothing.
Well, let me see. Something inappropriate. I recently had an audition to play White Supremacist number 9, and the guy asked me if I would shave my head. I said, sure. If I would get tattoos. I'm like, well, they're not permanent. He's like, no, they're hand tattoos. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. He's like, well, would you say the N-word on camera? And I looked at him and said, and get paid? Inappropriate Earl, iTunes, SoundCloud,
yes.
Leave a review. Don't buy my comedy album on iTunes because I stopped paying TuneCore, so I don't get any money from it. And watch Oxygen Network, Funny Girls, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Thank you for listening, guys. Simbari, you're next.